So I've finished with the last row and I've started another one and gotten all the way back to the face where I'm going to start to work on the mouth. So the next stitch is going to be a green one. So I'm going to start a green stitch and leave it open. And then I'm going to do the next 3 stitches in black. So I'm going to find my black yarn that I was using before, and I'm not going to cut it off, I'm just going to pull it toward where I need it to be and pull up that loop. And I'm going to now double crochet in black in only the back loops, and I'm going to take all of my tails and also the part of the yarn that I dragged from here to here and my green trailing yarn. I'm going to pull up that loop in the back loop of the green and double crochet. And then I'm going to do 2 more stitches of double crochet. So this one I'm going to do double crochet, and then the last stitch of black that I'm going to do in the next stitch I'm going to leave open so that I can change colors back to green after. So I've pulled over my loop into that back loop. I'm also going to stop pulling along this tail of black in this stitch as well. So let me pull up that loop and pull through 2 and leave 2 on the hook. Then I'm going to take my trailing end of green yarn and I'm going to finish that black stitch. Then I'm going to pull my my black yarn aside, and then I'm going to finish the row in both loops with the green yarn. So now I'm just going to double crochet until I get all the way back to the beginning of the row. And as you can see, the mouth and the face is starting to take shape. So I started another row and I've gotten back to the face here. And now I have gotten here, I'm going to switch colors again back to black. So the green stitch right next to where I started the black last time is where I'm going to start my black stitches. So I have an open stitch here, and I'm going to switch colors to black like I did last time. I'm going to take my black tail from the last stitches and bring it over here and pull through those 2 unfinished loops. And I don't want to make it too tight, but I want it to be loose enough that it doesn't pull too heavily on these stitches over here. So now I'm going to continue in black, and because the last stitch is green, I'm going to crochet in the back loops. And I'm also going to crochet around the tails and around the part of black that I dragged from here to here. So now I'm going to pull through 2 and pull through 2, and I'm going to do 1 more black stitch. So I'm going to leave it open so that I can finish it in green. But since the stitch I'm going to work on top of is a black stitch, I'm going to put my hook through both of those loops this time, because I don't need there to be a line between the 2 stitches that are the same color. So pulling through all of my tails, I'm going to pull up a loop, pull through 2 and leave it open, and then I'm going to finish that loop with my green yarn. So I'm going to pull through those 2, pull that black tail slightly so that it's tightened, and now I'm going to do 1 stitch of the green yarn. So I'm going to yarn over, and since the stitch I'm working on is black, I'm going to work in the back loops only. So I'm going to go through those back loops, around all the tails, and pull through 2. And now I'm going to switch colors again back to black. And then I'm going to pull through those 2. And now I'm going to do the next stitch in black, so yarn over, pull along all my tails, and into both loops since the base stitch is black. So pull through both loops, and now pull through 2, pull through 2. And now I'm going to do the last black stitch of the hat. So after this, I'm not going to need to carry through these black stitches anymore. So I'm going to yarn over and then into the back loop of the next stitch, which is a green stitch. And around all those tails, I'm going to pull up my black stitch, pull up a loop, and then leave that open and move my black yarn aside, and then finish that stitch with the 4 green strands. And now, as you can see, the creeper's face is done, and now I just have to finish the rest of this row. So back into both loops, double crochet. So at this point, I like to cut off the black loops. I'm going to leave a small tail just so that I can sew this in later and so that it doesn't show. So now I'm just going to continue with my green yarn and finish the rest of the row. So I've gotten to the end of the last row, and now I just have to do a row of slip stitches all the way around. So in all of the green stitches that I've done, I'm going to do a slip stitch in both loops. But once I get to one of the black stitches at the face, at the bottom of the mouth that I just did in the last row, I'm going to do a slip stitch in just the back loop so that that line is clearly visible between the green stitch and the black stitch. So here's one of the black stitches, and you can see there's this loop here, and then there's this loop here. So I'm going to just go into the back loop right here and do a slip stitch. And then I'm going to do that in the next row into the back loop because it's a black stitch. Slip stitch right there, and then into the next one that's a green stitch, I'm going to go into both. And then for the next 2 black stitches, I'm going to go into just the back loops. Now, as you can see, there is a green line just underneath the black line of the mouth. So I'm going to continue my row of slip stitches until I get to the end of the hat. So I've gone all the way around the hat with my row of slip stitches, and now I'm on the last slip stitch, so I'm going to just pull that through and slip stitch. And then I'm going to cut off my yarn and leave a tail so that I can sew the rest of it in. But once I sew in the tail, then the whole thing will be done, and as you can see, that row of slip stitches gives the black mouth part a good, nice bottom. So as you can see, my hat is now finished. I finished sewing in all of the ends, and I also made another larger size one. So I hope that you enjoyed watching this tutorial, and if you have any questions or comments or would like to show me any pictures or anything that you've made of these tutorials, then you can get in contact with me on Facebook, Twitter, or Tumblr, or down in the comments section below. Links for those will be down in the description. If you like this tutorial, then please hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more, then please subscribe. And thank you for watching. Bye!